Yes, we shall begin. On Saturday, we have seen the d block elements, the electronic configuration from scandium to zinc, that is from atom number 21 to 30, wherein the incoming electron preferentially enters into 3D orbital. Hence, all these members are commonly referred as 3D block elements. There are 4 series of d block elements, but our syllabus is restricted only to the first series of element, that is 3D series. Hence, I am not going into details of all these series. While studying the series, we have came to the conclusion that at chromium atom number 24 and at copper atom number 29, the unusual electronic configuration that is observed, that is 3D5 and 3D10 instead of 3D4 and 3D9 respectively, because to offer extra stability associated with completely half filled and completely filled electron subshell. So chromium and copper, they exhibit completely half filled and completely filled electron subshell, and hence they offer extra stability. After the completion of this electronic configuration, we have passed over to the oxidation states, various oxidation states that we have derived on this day, and you might be knowing how to calculate all these oxidation states and to arrive at the outermost electronic configuration. Perhaps you might refer your notebook. We have worked out how to calculate the electronic configuration, the various oxidation states and the outermost electronic configuration, and we have revealed that manganese is the atom number 25, the central element which shows maximum oxidation state of +7. That means manganese can contribute all its electrons from 4s2 and 3d5. All those 7 electrons are lost, and hence it can show +7 oxidation state. We have also seen that the minimum oxidation state, which corresponds to the total number of electrons which are present in 4s orbital. On account of this, we have seen that chromium and copper, they exhibit as only 1 electron in its 4s level. Hence, we have shown the +1 oxidation state for chromium and copper respectively. The rest, all other elements, they do show other oxidation states also. So the maximum oxidation states can be calculated on the basis of the total number of electrons present in 4s and total number of unpaired electrons from 3D. So this we know. Now we shall proceed further with the today's aspect, that is magnetic properties. Now, as we know that these elements do display two types of magnetic behavior. One is a diamagnetism and second is a paramagnetism. Before going to start with the diamagnetism and the paramagnetism, one should know what is the magnetic property that arises in d block elements. As we know that every electron which is present in the element, that is having two types of motions. The first motion is a spin motion of an electron, and second is the orbital motion of an electron. The spin motion of an electron determines the spinning of electron, that is either in a clockwise sense or in an anti-clockwise sense. If we denote the spin of an electron by +½ sign, that indicates that the spinning of electron in a clockwise sense. And if we denote the spinning of an electron by -½ sign, then definitely the spin of an electron is in anti-clockwise or counterclockwise rotation. So the plus and minus sign or positive or negative sign indicative of the spinning of electron in a clockwise or in an anti-clockwise sense. This is all about the spin motion of an electron. Second motion which is exhibited by the electrons is the orbital motion of an electron. So orbital motion of an electron determines the shape of orbital, whether it is spherical symmetrical or dumbbell shaped and so on. So due to combined effect of spin motion and orbital motion of an electron, every electron acts as a small magnet. As we have seen that two types of magnetic behavior exhibited by these elements. So these elements fall either in a diamagnetic or a paramagnetic character. What are these diamagnetic substances that we have see? Just see here. You should take your notebook while I am teaching. Whenever my lecture is there, you should have your own notebook. So you have to put the important points in your notebook. Now, there are two types of magnetic behavior. The first type that I have shown is a diamagnetic property. What is a diamagnetic property? Diamagnetic substances are those which are repelled by a strong magnetic field. It is a property of completely filled electronic subshell or completely filled 3D orbitals. So whenever we can find double occupancy of electrons or doubly filled electron subshell is there, then we can say such elements or such ions are diamagnetic. For example, zinc. Zinc, as we know, atomic number 30, its electronic configuration, as we have seen, is 3d10 4s2 in terms of argon core, argon being atom number 18, 18 plus 2 is 20 plus 10 is 30. This is the electronic configuration of zinc atom, but zinc shows only plus 2 oxidation state in all of its compounds, and hence to arrive at plus 2 oxidation state, zinc must lose its 2 electrons from 4s. So the outermost electronic configuration of zinc becomes 3d10. So the d10 configuration can also be shown as like this. These are the 10 electrons which are occupied in its d level. So whenever there is a double occupancy of electrons, or when the 3d orbitals are completely filled, then such substances are diamagnetic in nature. So this is the best example of diamagnetic character. For example, again, copper plus 1. As we know, atomic copper is having the electronic configuration, ground state electronic configuration as like this. This is a ground state electronic configuration of copper. When copper shows plus 1 oxidation state, it loses 1 electrons from 4s. So again, for copper plus 1, the configuration becomes a d10. d10 means again double occupancy of orbitals or completely filled 3d orbital. Hence, copper is also diamagnetic in nature. So this is about the diamagnetic substances are those which are repelled by a strong magnetic field, and it is a property of completely filled electron subshell, or whenever there is a double occupancy of electrons. So here 2 electrons are there, two. This situation is known as a double occupancy of electrons. Under such circumstances, the elements or the corresponding atom or ion are diamagnetic in nature. Consider the second type of magnetism, that is known as the paramagnetism. Now, paramagnetic substances are those which are attracted into a strong magnetic field. Exactly, reverse definition is exhibited by paramagnetic substances. These are the substances which are attracted into a magnetic field. It is a property when the d orbital contains unpaired electrons, or when d orbital contains, the 3d orbital contains single occupancy of electrons, or when the d orbitals are singly occupied. Under such circumstances, the substances appears to be paramagnetic in nature. Most of the elements from d block elements are paramagnetic in nature because they contain either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 unpaired electrons. Say for example, if we look at the electronic configuration of manganese, manganese is the central element having the electronic configuration as like this, 4s2 3d5. This is the electronic configuration of manganese. Now, if manganese shows plus 2 oxidation state, then it should lose 2 electrons from 4s. So manganese in its d level now contains 5 electrons. So this situation is known as the single occupancy of electrons in its d level, or whenever there are unpaired electrons are there, these are unpaired electrons, while these are paired electrons. So paramagnetism is due to presence of unpaired electrons which are present in 3D orbital. Consider one more example of titanium plus 3. We know titanium having atom number 22. Its d orbital configuration in terms of argon core is 3d2 4s2. If at all titanium has to show +3 configuration, then it must lose 2 electrons from 4s and one of the electron from 3d. So only one electron is left with the titanium, and hence this single electron can be shown like this. So here this situation is known as presence of unpaired electrons. So these elements contain either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 unpaired electrons, and hence they are paramagnetic in nature. So except that of zinc +2 and copper +1, all the members are paramagnetic in nature. So this is the in general idea of diamagnetism and the paramagnetism. Now, how to calculate the magnetic moments? How to calculate the magnetic moments of these elements? For example, how to calculate the magnetic moment of Mn+2, or how to calculate the magnetic moment of Ki+3? For this, one formula is there, that is a μs is equal to square root of n into bracket n+2, where n is nothing but number of unpaired electrons which are present. Now, for example, suppose if we want to calculate the magnetic moment for Mn+2 which contains 5 unpaired electrons. So here for μs for Mn+2, here n is nothing but 5 because manganese +2 ion contain 5 unpaired electrons. So if we put 5, n is equal to 5, and here 5 + 2. So if we solve this, this is 5 + 2 is 7, multiplied by 5 is 35, and the square root of 35 is 5.92. So for Mn+2 ion, the magnetic moment is 5.92. Similarly, suppose if we want to calculate the magnetic moment for Ki+3 containing only one electron, so here we can put 1, that is the number of unpaired electrons, plus 1 plus 2. Here this is a scandium +3, then 2 plus 1 is 3, multiplied by 1 square root of 3, that is 1.73. So this is a magnetic moment of scandium +3. So in this fashion, we can put the value of number of unpaired electrons where we have written n, and we can calculate the magnetic moment for all these elements. Now, to calculate the magnetic moments, how can we calculate and how can we correlate the different magnetic moments? Here, this magnetic moment can be measured in terms of a unit that is known as, here I am going to write the name as a Bohr magnetons. Bohr magnetons, which is also abbreviated as Bm. So the magnetic moment is calculated by using this formula. Mu is a magnetic moment. S stands for spin motion of an electron. Hence, this formula is known as a spin only formula. The formula is known as a, so magnetic moment can be calculated by using the spin only formula, and hence we can write this as a mu s. Mu stands for magnetic moment, S stands for spin only formula. So this is how one can calculate the magnetic moment for these elements. Now, if we want to correlate the magnetic moment with the corresponding number of unpaired electrons, then we can correlate this like this. Now, if you prepare the column like this, you can prepare the columns in your notebook. If you write side by side, you will be benefited, and if you don't write, the result will be in my hand. I will declare the result. There is no necessity to declare your results by the university. So it is easy for understanding if you work out when I am taking the worksheet of all these. Say for example, this is the first column, the d orbital configuration. Second column is a occupancy of 3d orbitals. Then number of unpaired electrons, which is denoted by letter small n, and the magnetic moment, which is calculated by using spin only formula in terms of Bohr magnetons. You should remember, and you have to write this because this will be very easy during your MCQ type questions also. Now, suppose for example, if it is a D0 configuration. What is a D0 configuration? For example, SC plus 3. SC plus 3 means 3D 4s, 4s2, 3D1. Loss of all the 3 electrons, that is 2 electrons and 1 electron, which leads to D0 configuration. Here, if I show like this, no electrons are there, number of unpaired electrons are 0, magnetic moment is 0. Now, if we move one step further, that is the D1. For example, again, Pi plus 3, just now we have seen that 3D2, 4s2, loss of 3 electrons leads to D1 configuration. So, here, if you write side by side, that is very good for you. Number of unpaired electrons 1, and for 1 unpaired electrons it is 1.73. Then D2 configuration. For D2 configuration, take for instance the example of vanadium plus 3. If you refer the oxidation states that we have seen on Saturday, it is having the D2 configuration. That means you can show like this, d orbital containing 2 electrons. So here number of unpaired electrons are 2, and for 2 unpaired electrons, the magnetic moment is 2.84. Then D3, I assume that you are writing all these D cases in your notebook. So whenever I will give you the worksheet, this will help you during the solving of the worksheet. So D3 case, for example, D3 case, for example, chromium plus 3. Again, d orbital configuration. 3d orbital contains 3 electrons. Number of electrons, unpaired electrons are 3, and magnetic moment is 3.87, which is calculated by using spin only formula. Then D4 case. D4 case, for example, Mn plus 3. You have to write Mn plus 3. It is having the configuration as a D4. That means d orbital containing 4 electrons. There are 4 unpaired electrons are there. Number of unpaired electrons are 4. Then magnetic moment is 4.90. Then D5. D5 case is Fe plus 3. The 3D configuration, d orbital containing 5 electrons, so 5 unpaired electrons, the magnetic moment is 5.92. Now D6 case. D6 case, the example is cobalt plus 3. If you refer your oxidation states, then cobalt plus 3 is having D6 case. So D6 means here the total number of electrons. If you count the total number of electrons, those are 4. And for 4 unpaired electrons, magnetic moment is 4.90. Again, D7 case. D7 case, cobalt plus 2. Here cobalt plus 3 is given. Here cobalt plus 2 is there. Here D7 means first two orbitals they occupy singly. So total number of electrons are 3. And for 3 unpaired electrons it is 3.87. Then D8. D8 configuration is of nickel plus 2. You can show this as like this. This is D8. D8 means total number of unpaired electrons are 2, similar to this. So 2 unpaired electrons are there. So for 2 unpaired electrons, it is 2.84. Magnetic moment is similar to that of this case. So when similar number of unpaired electrons are there, the magnetic moment is also same. Then D9 case. For example, copper plus 2. This is a D9 case. Total number of electrons are 9, but unpaired electrons is 1. And for 1 unpaired electron, the magnetic moment is again 1.73. And D10 case, for example, Zn plus 2. Just now we have seen this example that D orbitals containing 10 electrons, no unpaired electrons are there, so no magnetic moment is there. So from this we can conclude that up to manganese, maximum oxidation, maximum magnetic moment is shown. But after manganese, the magnetic moment goes on decreasing and it ends with 0 for zinc. So except to that of zinc and scandium, all the members are paramagnetic. So here zinc and scandium, they do not contain unpaired electrons, hence these are the metals or these are the elements which are diamagnetic. Rest all the elements, right, from titanium to this copper plus 2, they contain either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 unpaired electrons, and hence these elements are mostly paramagnetic except to that of zinc and scandium. This we know. Now, these values of d orbital configuration and the magnetic moment we can correlate with the oxidation state, or the oxidation state can be correlated with the d orbital configuration and the magnetic moment, including the total number of unpaired electrons. So at a time, if we correlate with these three properties, then we can draw a graph like this. This is a somewhat different graph that we are going to see. Here only 10 minutes are left that I'm showing. So I have to complete within 10 minutes. So I will definitely complete this in 10 minutes. So you have to draw this graph, that is the magnetic moment in Bohr magnetons against d orbital configuration against the total number of unpaired electrons, that is total number of unpaired electrons. So here we can see that the maximum magnetic moment shown by these elements is 5.92, means it is nearly equal to 6. So we can label here this magnetic moment as this is a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And here D0, this is a D5, and this is a D10. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this is a D0 to D10 configuration. And here the total number of electrons, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So maximum unpaired electrons will be 5. So we can plot the graph, only a schematic graph. Say for example, if it is a D0 configuration, here D0 configuration. What is the magnetic moment? 0. Unpaired electrons are 0. So here we can plot the first point at D0 as like this. No unpaired electrons are there, no magnetic moment. So for D1 case, one unpaired electron 1.73. So we can show this as one unpaired electron, and magnetic moment for D1 case is 1.73. So nearly equal to 2, it is a magnetic moment for one unpaired electron. So for two unpaired electrons, it is 2.84. Now for two unpaired electrons, for D2 case, 2.84, that means here. Then for D3 case, this is D3 case, total number of unpaired electrons are 3. So here 3.87. So for D3 case, it is 3.87 here. For D4 case, 4 unpaired electrons are there, 4.90 here. Total number of unpaired electrons are 4. And for D5 case, total number of unpaired electrons are 5. The magnetic moment is 5.92, means nearly equal to 6, like this. Now, D6 case, consider here D6 case. This is a D6 case. 4 unpaired electrons are there, magnetic moment is 4.90. So this is a, see here, this is a D6 case, 4 unpaired electrons and magnetic moment is 4.90. Then D7 case, 3 unpaired electrons, 3.87. D8 unpaired electrons, D8, see here, unpaired electrons are 2, magnetic moment is 2.84. Then D9, one unpaired electron, magnetic moment is 1.73, D9 case 1.73, and D10 case, yeah. So we have plotted this graph. You can see this is a graph of the magnetic moment in Bohr magnetons against d orbital configuration against total number of unpaired electrons. Now, suppose if we draw a smooth curve like this by joining all these points like this. So here this graph shows its highest value at a D5 case. This is a D5 case where total number of unpaired electrons will be 5 and the magnetic moment is 5.92. Now, how can we correlate all these parameters? That is the d orbital configuration, the total number of unpaired electrons, and the magnetic moment. Suppose if we know either of these parameters, we can easily arrive at the total number of unpaired electrons, and we can also show the d orbital configuration. So 5.92 means total number of electrons are 5, then and then the magnetic moment is like this. And for 5 unpaired electrons, the configuration must be D5, or the reverse is also true. Only if we know D5, that means a d orbital containing only 5 unpaired electrons, then we can easily arrive at the total number of unpaired electrons. D5 means total number of unpaired electrons are 5 and magnetic moment is definitely 5.92. Or if we know the total number of unpaired electrons, suppose if you are given that the element containing total number of electrons n is equal to 5, find its d orbital configuration and magnetic moment. So if we know one parameter, then we can easily arrive at the d orbital configuration and magnetic moment. How? Just see. Here we know only this parameter, magnetic moment, total number of unpaired electrons are 5. So for 5 unpaired electrons, this is the value. For 5 unpaired electrons, it is magnetic moment is 5.92. So this is the value, and for this D5 configuration. So we have arrived at the D5 configuration and magnetic moment value as 5.92. Or say for example, if we know the total number of electrons as n is equal to 3, you have to find out D and Bm. how can we calculate? So if total number of unpaired electrons are 3, for 3 unpaired electrons, the magnetic moment is 3.87. So this must be either this must be D7 case or it must be a D3 case. So D3 or D7 case, because how is it possible? Say for example, D7 case, how many unpaired electrons are there? 3 unpaired electrons are there, magnetic moment is 3.87. And for the D3 case, again 3 unpaired electrons are there, magnetic moment is 3.87. So we can calculate either of these parameters just by looking at this particular graph. Then we can easily arrive at either of these parameters. So thus, from the values of the magnetic moments which are shown by these different, we can easily calculate the d orbital configuration and the total number of unpaired electrons with respect to the magnetic moment in terms of Bohr magnetons by using spin only formula. So this is how we can conclude the property that is known as the magnetic property. And in conclusion, I would like to say that most of the elements from the 3D block series are paramagnetic. If a question of the type if it is asked that most of the elements from D block elements are dash, the answer should be paramagnetic, because just now we have seen these elements except scandium +3 and zinc +2, these are almost paramagnetic because scandium and zinc do not contain any unpaired electrons. So the property that is known as paramagnetism is only on account of the presence of unpaired electrons. If the d orbital contains a double occupancy of electrons, then these substances are diamagnetic. For example, Zn +2 D10 configuration or copper +1 D10 configuration. So here I would like to conclude because we have